I would love to see Kamala Harris's internal numbers. Wouldn't you, Sean? I want to see what her team is looking at because now she's sitting down with Brett Baer, which I hope that they'll release an unedited interview. Fox News will, because they're not doing it live. I think that's very important. And I trust Brett Baer to do a great job, but I want to make sure that there's full transparency here. That's number one. And then she's thinking about sitting down with Joe Rogan, which, just to be clear, even if you're good at this, like you and I, Sean, we do this for a living, Joe Rogan is not an easy interview. It's not. It is long. It is deep. It is detailed. It is unpredictable. It is goofy. She will be asked about psychedelics, aliens, whether or not she worked at McDonald's, and whatever else comes to Joe Rogan's mind. Joe Rogan can be best kind of compared to just kind of the random chieftain 500 years ago. Tell me about why sun goes up. And just like he just asks random questions of people that come to him. Not exactly what Kamala Harris is good at. Let's play cut 50.
There's also some discussion we're hearing that she may do the Joe Rogan podcast, the most popular podcast in the country.
But if she does Joe Rogan, if she does Joe Rogan, that's an exact, she's aiming right at young men, right, which is a constituency that polls show that not just her, but the Democratic Party is getting a little shaky on, and those men are more interested, seem interested in Donald Trump. And so basically she and the campaign are trying to say, we're not scared to go in front of what folks might think is unfriendly waters or enemy territory.
Not scared, Sean. Well, she's welcome on the Charlie Kirk Show anytime. But, Sean, your reaction on Kamala Harris thinking about doing Joe Rogan?
I'm actually super curious. I'm getting a whiff of her team lying to everyone during the convention and telling them Beyonce was going to come play the convention so they would tune in and watch her. And it was a total lie. We saw Trump say he's probably going on Rogan. Rogan's people are hinting at it. We know Trump loves these long form podcasts. He can talk about anything. My guess is that what Harris is doing is she wants people to think that she wants to go on Rogan. And then I also suspect that her people are trying to bully Rogan into letting her only go on for 15 or 20 minutes on a very narrow set of topics rather than having to sit for 3 hours. If she goes on there for 2 or 3 hours, she's cooked. That woman is an inch wide and an inch deep. There is no possible way she can go on there for that long and not look like a total moron.
I totally agree. Look, I happen to be a big fan of Joe Rogan. I listen to a lot of his stuff. I think he's way smarter than people give him credit for. He's incredibly entertaining, and he's a pioneer. He is to podcasting what Rush Limbaugh was to the AM dial. That is what he will go down as. He reinvented it. He pioneered it. We are all following kind of in the footsteps of how Joe Rogan invented a medium. And you don't have to like him. You just have to respect the game the same way that Rush Limbaugh resurrected AM radio back in the 90s and early 2000s and created it, talk radio, to be a thing. And again, Joe Rogan, he's not going to put up with that. I mean, again, Joe Rogan is the guy that defied the public health authorities when it came to CDC and ivermectin. He's not going to put up with it. In fact, Joe Rogan, when he gets a little ticked, he's good. Remember, he is a comedian. Kamala Harris is not. And by definition, if you are a comedian, you're very good on your feet because you have to be able to deal with hecklers and be able to make jokes off the cuff. I sure hope she does it. And I don't think in any world would Joe Rogan allow her just a 15-minute drive-by. He doesn't need the ratings that bad.